What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me. What I'm about to share with you is going to make your blood boil. Why? Because you're paying for it and because it's happening. Let's talk about it. Or where they went, they caught 78 known terrorists within the beginning of this year alone. And what's up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. If you haven't already, please share this video no matter how you are watching this. No matter how you are watching this. And like I've been saying here, I've said this for years, actually, but it's even more so right now. I know you're not getting a notification. Some people do, but a lot of people don't get notifications. So the answer to that is set a mobile alert on your mobile device. You get to control the notification. They can't turn that one off on you. Well, maybe they can, but they don't know what you're setting it for. Set your mobile alert for 7 p.m. Central, Monday through Friday. Monday through Friday, set a mobile alert. So then that way you don't have to depend on them, right? You don't have to depend on it. For Will Johnson, 7 p.m. Central right here. Okay, let's get into it. The whistleblower came out and actually exposing the federal government for being the middleman in a multi-billion-dollar child trafficking op. Really? You can't even make this stuff up. This is so repulsive. It's so maddening. It's so sickening because you're paying for it. Your tax dollars is paying for the federal government to traffic children into the country. And now we're talking about 85,000 children missing. 85,000 children just gone. They don't know where they are. They just disappeared. And the Biden administration is not concerned about where these children are. They're saying, well, the Republicans said that they called, we call and try to find out where the children are. And they don't answer the phone because they don't know who the phone number this is. So they don't answer the call. Right. So we don't answer the call because we don't know who it is. But the child is safe. Don't worry about that. We're not going to go physically look and check up on the child. The child is safe. They can care less about that. And some of these children that are coming across the border happen to be like 24, 25 years old, but they identify as 15 and 16. So because they identify as 15 and 16, the left, the Democrats will say, oh, let the children in. Let the children in. And they're grown people. And once they come in here, once they come into the United States of America, guess what they end up doing? They end up taking the lives of American people. If you haven't already, hit that share button. I know what I'm about to share with you is going to make your blood boil. And I did a video earlier today, short video. Did a video and I told people, I said, I'm going to have something tonight that's going to prove that these people in the federal government, they should be locked up. They should go to prison, right? They should go to prison. They're going after Clarence Thomas because he got some special treatment somewhere. But they don't care about the children being trafficked into our country. They look the other way when it comes to that. Look at this first clip to actually show one of the whistleblowers talking about the trafficking of children coming into our nation. Let's go ahead and do split screen. They're bringing them into our nation. And the federal government, the Democrats are looking the other way. And you know what? After watching this, you know what dawned on me? Is that the Democrats were the ones that owned slaves. The Democrats were the ones that wanted to keep slavery in America. They still do. And here's the proof.
Now, Mr. Rodas, you've said that the U.S. government is the middleman in a multi-billion-dollar migrant child trafficking operation. What did you mean when you used the term middleman? Microphone, please.
So the United States government is receiving the children from the smugglers at the border. And HHS is a $2.7 trillion agency, and over the last 2 years has spent approximately $10 billion. So they're using that money to receive those children and then transport those children to the end user.
And when you say end user, we're not talking necessarily even a blood relative. So I heard a Democrat witness talk about vetting. Can any of you talk about vetting? I mean, I could talk about vetting, but I want to hear from the witnesses.
Yeah, listen to what the witnesses say. Because the Democrats, they never even actually vetted these monsters that they were sending the children to. Did you hear what I just said? And I'm going to prove it to you tonight. I'm going to prove it to you tonight that the Democrats they never even cared about actually vetting. Oh, this little child belongs to you? Grown man. Oh yeah, that's my little girl. Grown man. And then after the grown man has a little girl in the country, 3 months later, the little girl's dead because he's been raping her. And they didn't never vet him. They don't want to vet him. The Democrats are repeating slavery all over again, proving it to you tonight.
Tell us about the vetting that you've observed.
Well, in my personal capacity as the deputy of the federal case management team, vetting, I would like to say with Mr. Carey, what he said is they are not an investigative organization, nor are they law enforcement. There was no one. I was shocked and I am stunned that there was no one with law enforcement experience overseeing where children are going. You have people applying for children who we know are members of transnational criminal organizations.
You hear this? Transnational criminal organizations. They're trafficking the children. And where's the law enforcement? No one, you know what? What it is these NGOs. And the Democrats are just saying, okay, well, we'll just bring them in. They don't have any experience, but we'll just say, okay, this person goes there, this person goes there. It's slave trade, people, happening in the United States of America. Multi-billion-dollar industry. And of course, the Democrats don't want that multi-billion-dollar industry to go away, just like they don't want the multi-billion-dollar industry of killing the most innocent of us all.
Yet there's no one with any data analytics background or anything like that overseeing this operation. It doesn't really pass the common sense test when we're pumping billions of dollars into a program that's overseen by people who simply are not qualified to do the job. When one individual can sponsor 20 or 30 or 40 people and no one's asking a question about it, there's something seriously wrong and flawed with that program.
That's ultimately.
Yeah, you think there's something seriously wrong and flawed with that program. But again, you can't make this stuff up. This is happening and you and I, we're paying for it. If you've ever paid taxes, they're funneling billions and billions and billions of dollars into this taxpayer money. So we can say that we're all against it. We're all against it. But without them even asking us if this is something that we want to fund with our money, because the federal government is draining us dry. Oh, if you make less than $400,000 a year, you won't pay an extra penny. That is a total lie. They're draining us dry. They're draining the entire country dry. There's actually, my producer found an article that actually shows how much money the NGOs are pulling in.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Multiple. I mean, this is ridiculous. And this is taxpayer dollars. This is the very reason why the NGOs don't want to stop the trafficking from coming into the country, because it's money laundering, if you ask me. It's like the federal government is doing money laundering, and the Democrats are like, you know what? We don't want this to stop. This is good money because it helps their campaign out. They're funneling this money. And it makes sense. You remember Project Veritas? Project Veritas exposed the Democrats when a Democrat would donate $5 a month. But then when they go look at the records, that one Democrat that thought that he or she donated $5 a month ended up donating $30,000. So they're like doing money laundering, and they're using people because they got a physical address and a name. This is so bizarre. It's so disgusting. Do you have the article?
No, I'm sorry. I have to.
You have the article? You didn't text it to yourself? Okay, while she's looking that up, I'm going to prove it to you. While she's looking that up, let me go to this one, because this one is, the 85,000, right? Remember 85,000? The kids aren't being released because they're bringing them in for work programming. It's like slave labor. And again, it's the Democrats that's doing the slave labor. Look at this next clip that I have for you. You can't look. This is our taxpayer dollars going down the drain.
I have it now.
Oh, you have it? Okay, let's do it before we play this. Let's bring it up on the screen.
Yeah, so the one and only witness that the Democrats, because the Democrats had a witness there, the Republicans let them have a guest, and he was from the ORR, which is a Refugee and Resettlement Assistance Program. This program made $1.9 billion from the federal government last year.
Your
That's how much they were
taxpayer
funded.
dollars.
100% federal government funds. And 1.3 of it went to the Unaccompanied Alien Child Program, which is what they're talking about today. And this guy, you know what? Out of all the witnesses, well, they had 3 whistleblowers there, right? That went undercover, that know exactly what's happening at the border. The only person that the Democrats talked to was the guy from ORR.
Yeah. So they bring in this guy, part of the ORR. And of course, he's going to talk. He's going to chalk it up. He's going to talk it up because they don't want people to believe that they were doing anything wrong when they were. They were doing 100% wrong.
Just like he said, oh, yeah, the sponsors are vetted. She went on there and she's like, no, they're not.
Yeah, exactly. They're not vetted. So now listen to this one.
Cartels charge thousands of dollars to traffic these children. How are these debts repaid?
How many debts actually get repaid?
No, how are the debts repaid?
By working and sometimes in slave labor. There was an example when Project Veritas went and knocked on doors in some of the hot spots that I gave them. A 16-year-old girl said she's being pimped by her sponsor, who claims to be her aunt. But the little girl says, I don't know, I've never met her.
Ms. Rodriguez, you heard similar stories in Texas, is that correct?
Yeah.
Let me stop it real quick. I mean, y'all hearing this, right? And the Democrats, I'm going to show you how the Democrats respond to this. Because you would think anybody that actually has a heart and not a dark heart, because these Demoncrats have dark hearts. Anyone that actually have blood rushing through their veins would say, this is horrible. They're actually, and you know what? Just like I said in the beginning, who owned slaves back in the day? The Democrats. Who's pushing this slave trade today in America? The Democrats. The Demoncrats are doing it. They did it then and they're doing it today. And let me say thank you to Robert for the Cash App. Thank you, Robert. Thank you so much. It helps me continue to report the news.
So that is correct. With the a lot of the, especially the younger children that I've personally met along the border, again, they're come with these small little pieces of paper with handwritten numbers on them. They're told, from what they tell me, of who their sponsors are going to be, that this is a lot of them is their tío, like their uncle, their mother or their father that they've never met, and they don't know who they are until they've never met them.
The Florida
Yeah, they don't know that they're actual monsters. And I can't even imagine, there's parents in these countries that are selling their children. And I can't even fathom that. I can't even wrap my mind around it.
Grand jury did a 5-month study of this issue in their state and discovered exactly the same thing. So we're seeing that in California, we're seeing it in Texas, we're seeing it in Florida. When we're told these placements are carefully vetted, are we being gaslighted?
Yes, Chairman.
Ms. Vaughn.
Yes, and that's why the state of Florida, for example, the grand jury there is recommending that the state pass a law requiring these sponsors to come forward so that the state can do the vetting, because they know that the federal government is not doing it.
Yeah, but they don't want the states to do it either, right? They don't want the states to do it. The federal government's not going to do it. As long as the Democrats have any kind of control over anything, they're going to try to prevent anybody from protecting our children, protecting children on the border, just period. Because they don't want people to know that it's even happening. You know what? I told you this will make your blood boil because you're paying for this. Now, you think that you would think, like I said, people that have blood rushing through their veins would say, you know what, we got to stop this trafficking of children. We've got to stop this. This is not good. But the Democrats, they found it completely okay to own black people back in the day. It's the history of America. Some people don't like it. Some people don't like it. And Democrats, you know what? Let me say this too. Democrats didn't only exist in the South because Democrats had ventured out to other places and they wanted to own, they took their slaves with them when they went to other places in America. But predominantly slavery was in the South, the Democrats. And not in the North with white Republicans, because white Republicans created the Republican Party so black people can have representation. Now, look at this. I'm going to share this one with you. This is what Eric Swalwell. Now, they're having this hearing about the southern border, about the children being trafficked into the border. 85,000 children missing. They're not concerned about the 85,000 children missing. They can care less. The children are probably put into child labor somewhere. No, God knows what is happening to them. They don't care because they're demonic. They're evil. Now, instead of Eric Swalwell talking about the children, right? Don't they always say that? It's about the children. We need to protect the children. We need to fight for the children. Listen what he's talking about when they're talking about the southern border.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Rodriguez, I apologize that you're here for a hearing on the border. They don't want to talk about a border. Mr. Swalwell is...
Okay, hold on. That's not the one I want to play for you first. Did I put him in order here?
No, you want to play the one that's right before it.
Okay, I selected the wrong one. Okay, hold on, everybody. Let me, okay, that's my bad.
Right there.
Yep, okay, here we go. Let's play this one first.
Ms. Rodriguez, were you at the Capitol on January 6th?
Was I at the Capitol?
Yes.
No, sir. I was on the premises outside of a reflection pond waving a flag.
So you were on the Capitol grounds?
I'm not sure if that's technically Capitol grounds. I was near the street.
Is this your tweet right behind me at 3:05 on January 6th, 2021?
I really do not know.
Are you at Secure Border TX?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you see that picture?
I can. Mm-hmm.
Did you go any farther than where you were in that picture?
No, sir.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, they're going to get closer on that billboard of that tweet so you can see what it is. But again, this has nothing to do with children coming across the border, and he's bringing up 1-6. Really? He's bringing up 1-6. Like, what does that have to do with the southern border? He's trying to discredit her.
He's trying to attack a whistleblower. Let's call it for what it is.
That's what I'm saying. He's attacking the whistleblower and he's trying to discredit her.
Did you ever cross any police barricades on January 6th?
Not that I'm aware of.
Did you ever see any violence on January 6th?
No, I did not. I did see a red flare go up. I don't remember the time, but that was about it. I did not encounter any violence. As a matter of fact, it was quite peaceful. I was involved in some prayers day before.
So January 6th, over 150 officers were injured. One lost an eye, one lost a finger, one lost a life, but you didn't see any violence?
No, sir, I did not. That was not my experience.
You agree, though, that violence against police officers took place that day?
Sir, I'm not quite sure what this has to do with the exploitation of children like the young girl who wore this band.
Exactly. What does this have to do with the southern border and children being brutally beat, murdered, and raped on the border? What does that have to do with it? Trafficked. He's trying to discredit her. That's what he's trying to do. And they don't want to talk about the southern border. They want to bring up everything else but what about the children? Right? They keep screaming it. What about the children? They really don't care. This is proving it.
Sure. I guess, you were called, you publicly tweeted this. The majority knew that you were on the Capitol grounds on January 6th. And so, your credibility is, just as every witness, including the Democratic witness, is fair grounds for questioning. And so I guess my question is, you are aware that violence took place at the Capitol on January 6th.
That's what the media says.
Okay. Do you believe the media?
Inherently, I do
about
not.
January 6th.
About January 6th, I can only go by my personal experience. And I absolutely, if waving a flag and praying outside of the Supreme Court and standing outside waving a flag on public property is a crime, I'm not quite, again, I'm really not sure what relevance. We have children that are being raped using our taxpayer dollars. I'm not quite sure what this has to do with me waving a flag has to do with.
Yes, what does it have to do with it? It has nothing to do with it, waving a flag. When I remember when I was living out in California, and some of y'all may have saw that video. When I was living out in California, I would go out into the corner and I would hold the American flag. And a lot of times I was out there by myself holding the American flag, and people would ride by telling me that I'm number one, using a different finger, of course, right? They would tell me, they would ride by telling me I'm number one in California. I was holding American flag, and I was told that I was inciting violence because I was holding American flag on the streets of America. How is that inciting violence? But anyways, since Eric Swalwell or Eric Fartwell brings up the whole 1-6, he brings that up. So does that mean it's fair game to bring up other stuff too? I think it does. Look at this one, because this was right after Eric Swalwell was drilling her about 1-6, trying to discredit her. But listen to this, because another representative brings up Yum Yum.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Rodriguez, I apologize that you're here for a hearing on the border. They don't want to talk about a border. Mr. Swalwell is down there. Obviously, everybody knows he's made.
Okay, here it comes, right? I mean, hey, Swalwell opened up the door for this one. He opened up the door. And I want to apologize to everybody that's watching. There's a language in here. Eric Swalwell is going to use some language in here. I apologize. Okay. But you need to hear a representative of Congress, how he responds to another representative in Congress with foul language.
He knows he's made some comments. He's got a checkered past. He's alleged relationships.
A checkered past? I would ask.
It's my time. Alleged affairs, relationships with Yum Yum.
You don't get to say that shit. That's not true.
He had alleged relationships with Yum Yum.
Did y'all hear it? I mean, come on. Let me take it back. I'm sorry. I had to take it back. I apologize. But this is you can hear Eric Swalwell saying he's not going to take this beep. I'm not going to say it.
Some people are saying let it rip, Will. So just let it go. He's
going to say take this beep. Okay, then one more time. But listen, and I want y'all to look at how do you say her name? Jaya Paul? She's Jaya Pauling. I'm going to say it like that. Jaya Pauling. Listen to what she says at the end of this clip about the checkerboard, right? Checkerboard background. That's what's more important to them about what's being said, not what Eric Swalwell says.
I would ask.
It's my time. Alleged affairs, relationships with Yum Yum.
You don't get to say that shit. That's not true.
He had alleged relationships with Yum Yum.
I asked the gentleman's words to be taken down.
You don't get to say that,
pal. I asked the gentleman's words to be taken down as casting a slur on another member.
I am here.
You hear that? And that's Jerry Nadler saying, can we get those taken down because he sweared at another member? And he's not talking about Swalwell doing it. He's talking about him saying that his checkerboard background. And it's not Yum Yum. It's Fei Fei, right? Fei Fei. I think it's Fei Fei. But he called it Yum Yum.
I started busting out laughing.
He called it Yum Yum. Yum Yum. And Eric Swalwell got bent up. Well, I'm not taking his beep because of Yum Yum. The spy Yum Yum. Wait a minute. He brought up something that's totally irrelevant to the children on the southern border, so he should be able to bring it up too. But Yum Yum.
Here, he's making.
I asked the words of the gentleman be taken down as casting a slur on another member.
Let us have some order and civility here, and we will take up the issues one by one.
Mr. Chairman, I ask that the words of the gentleman be taken down as expressing a slur on another member.
Now watch this. Now they're going to talk about what the slur is, right? And listen, and watch this. appalling.
And the
her right there.
Words were?
And the words were, watch.
He mentioned that Mr. Swalwell had a checkered past. I don't have the rest of the exact words, but it was a direct slur on a member of this committee. That is not acceptable.
That's the slur she's talking about? A checkered board pass? What about him cursing the other member? I'm not taking his beep, but that's okay. That's okay. They're upset because they brought up Eric Swalwell's pass about yum yum. Yum yum. Yum yum bubble gum. That's what they're upset about. So they bring up all of that, but they don't even, let's bring up the next clip here. They talk about all of that, but they don't want to talk about what's happening on the southern border. They could care less what's happening on the southern border. They only want to work on deceiving the American people. And the reason why they don't want to talk about it, because just like in the past, I told you in the beginning, just like in the past, the Democrats did what? They were the ones pushing for slavery. You can go look at the history records on it. It was the Democrats that all voted for slavery and the Republicans voted against it. 100% Democrats voted for it. 100% Republicans voted against it. And now today, who's doing slave trade again? Who's putting these people in slave labor today? It again is the Democrats, the Demoncrats. Again, let the history show that there was never a switch. The switch never took place. The same Democrat party then is the same Democrat party today. You can't join Satan's party and expect them to want to do right by people. You can't join Satan's party and expect them to try to recognize women for women. Do you know what I'm talking about? Satan's party's not going to do that. You can't join Satan's party when Satan's party is the one that rejected God in their convention. They voted God out. That's Satan's party from the get-go, from day one. And some people don't like that, but it is. And a lot of people don't know it, but it is. But it is. Now, let me go to this one. This one here, this is about the hearing too, and this is the last one that I'm going to show you tonight. I got so many other videos that I could show you on this, but it's not enough time. It's not enough time. Let's just play this one.
You said these kids are being recruited in their home country. What do you mean by that?
So, and I'd be happy to submit for the record, we have children saying that there are radio advertisements in their hometowns. So in Huehuetenango, for example, in Guatemala, they're actually advertising on the radio. Come with us. We'll give you passage. We'll give you passage to the United States. There's an example of a sponsor who currently is in Austin, Texas at this moment. He attempted to sponsor 4 children, 1 from the Pomona Fairplex Emergency Intake Site and 3 from the Pecos Emergency Intake Site, promising work to these children who are making $2.50 a day on the coffee farm he owns in Guatemala. So he lured them here. Now, fortunately, they were put into long-term care, but they are being lured here. Facebook ads and other things. Children are being lured here and then put to work here.
So it doesn't sound like they're fleeing as much as they're being baited to come here in a lot of ways, from what I'm hearing.
In many ways, they're not fleeing. In many ways, I mean, let's take El Salvador, for example. No one is fleeing from Nayib Bukele. He has a very safe society right now. Yes, maybe in times past, people were fleeing El Salvador from the gangs, but sadly, the gangs have now set up operation here, and we have evidence that there are many of them who are running the networks here who have the children. It's indisputable evidence that Department of Homeland Security has transnational criminal organizations on the TOC watch list, some of who got their fingerprints here in Washington, D.C. and neighboring areas, are sponsoring the children. It's indisputable.
I mean, wow. Indisputable. And the Democrats, they look the other way. It would not surprise me. You can get off the screen. It would not surprise me if the Democrats are not making money from it. Just like the abortion thing, right? They're making money from it. They funnel the money.
Yeah, can you believe,
they're funneling the money?
They had such a great witness, such a great whistleblower, and the Democrats did not ask her a single question. They could care less about what she knows and the knowledge of trafficking these young children. It was absolutely disgusting to watch this hearing. I was blown away of how the Democrats literally wanted to use it to attack Republicans and say they aren't doing anything about the border, that this is all for show. And the Republicans turned around and looked at them and said, what are you talking about? You've been in charge for 2 years and you haven't done anything. 2
years, yes. And you did nothing. They actually created the problem that we're seeing right now today.
Correct.
They're the ones that created it. And you know what? I'm going to go to this one here. You know what else they created? Share this video if you haven't already. Hit the share button. Hit the share button if you haven't already. Please, if you're watching on Rumble, hit the thumbs up. Let me go look at Rumble real quick. Hit the thumbs up on it for me real quick. Okay? Hit the thumbs up. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up for me there as well.
Rumble has 47 thumbs up.
Rumble has 47? Mm-hmm. Come on, help me get to 100. There's 250 people on Rumble right now. Help me get to 100. Hit that thumbs up. Turn it green for me. Turn it green. And how many do we have on YouTube?
We have...
You gonna look? You gonna tell me?
We have 49.
49? Come on. Help me out. Help me out.
That's over 6 or...
Help me out. Hit the thumbs up.
Watch. 63.
Now, you know what else has actually increased under the Biden regime? And it's really odd that the Communist News Network is talking about it, but they don't want to say that, well, is it something? What's going on that is happening? This increase is happening under the Biden regime. What is that? We're talking about violence across the board. Just violence. There's been more violence under the Biden regime than any other time. More violence. Look at this one. This is what the Communist News Network talking about gun violence. And there's really no such thing as gun violence. It's just violence and they're using a gun, right? People are being violent. Like you could be violent with the car, but they don't call it car violence, right? They don't call it a rock violence. It's just violence. But listen to this. This is happening under Biden regime.
There's a new grim statistic coming out of the FBI. A newly released report has found that the U.S. actually experienced more casualties from active shooter situations in 2022 than in the last several years altogether. CNN's chief law enforcement intelligence analyst John Miller is tracking this new report. John, this is, just to look at this and to see how the numbers have changed over the years, it's hard to even fathom how much it's gone up.
It really is. And, the FBI has been tracking this more carefully, looking not just for numbers, but for answers. This report was actually only released publicly about 10 minutes ago. But what it tells us is the active shooter in the United States for 2022, 50 shootings in 25 states. Every day of the week has an active shooter occurrence. When you look at the cost of that, though, go back to 2018, you see 225 casualties, 2019, 258. What happens in 2020 is COVID, and you see a sharp decrease because people are on lockdown, people are at home. But by 2021, it's spiking back up to 243, and then 2022, 313. So
look at that. See that? You see the chart there? And they don't want to say because it's the policies of the Democrats. The Democrats have actually been inciting violence. And they were saying, oh, my goodness, Trump is inciting violence. Trump is inciting violence. The violence in the United States of America has increased.
And who's it been
the highest ever?
And who has it been perpetrated by, Will? What have the last mass shootings that we have had, who have they been perpetrated by? Leftists.
Yep.
You know what? There's a lot of things that they don't talk about here. The other thing is as gun control laws go up, so do the shootings, right? As CRT, as the divisive tactics of the left go up, so do the shootings. When they start creating hatred for one color over another, shootings go up, attacks go up. This is 100% on the Biden and his administration and the left is just in general.
And you know what? I'm going to show you. Let's hold on. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to show you right now. Let's do split screen. Yep, go ahead. I want y'all to go right now to my Rumble channel, because I'm going to show you the proof of the left actually the ones inciting violence. I have it coming out of their mouths. I'm not going to show it here on Facebook or show it on YouTube, because they, demons protect demons. I'm telling you, if I show it, just like I can't show here lately, I can't even show somebody else that I'm going to show you on the other end. But I can show it to you on Rumble because they believe in free speech. So do me a favor, go there. But before we go, let me say thank you to the people that support my broadcasts, support my channel through the Facebook stars. I don't know. I didn't see if we had any super chats.
I am looking
or Rumble
right
rants.
now for Facebook stars.
Okay. And if you once you come over and you join me over here, please go ahead, create your account if you don't have one on Rumble. Create
but it
your
is
account.
Free on Rumble. You just have to create
it is a free account. It's a free account for you to have on Rumble. Some people for some reason think you have to pay. You don't. I have to pay to continue. I have to pay to stream on Rumble, which I don't have a problem with. Right? Please come over. Please come over and support me. Please come over and support me.
So Facebook stars, we got Michaels. We have Kelly.
Thank you.
Barbara, Mike, CP, Sherry, Cindy, Bobby, and Arena.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the blessings. Thank you so much for the blessings.
And if you guys don't like supporting through these social media platforms, you can always go to uniteamericafirst.com/donate.
Yeah, and you can go there, and then there's multiple options. There's multiple options there. Even my physical address is there.
But we're watching another hearing tomorrow, so stay tuned tomorrow. We will see you here.
There's another one tomorrow. Okay, let's go ahead and make it full screen. In about 30 seconds from now, we will be exclusively on Rumble. So go ahead, everybody, join us over on Rumble. Okay. God bless you for everyone who doesn't join us. Okay. Let's make sure. Are you getting them now?
Yep.